Are you having trouble keeping track of your project plan that's been emailed around in Excel files? Does your project not have a one source of truth? Do people not know what they're responsible for or when it's due? When new people join the team, is the information they need scattered across emails, Word documents, Excel files, and information that isn't written down anywhere? Then maybe what you need is a project management platform. In this Fiat Veritas video, I'll be talking about the requirements for a project management platform to be used for adaptive project management, a paradigm used for managing projects with complexity and uncertainty. When a company just starts out, everyone can track their own to-do list. At some point, you want to have a communal list that everyone in the company can share, maybe a Google Sheet or an Excel file shared on a common drive. But as the work gets more complicated and the team larger, you want to use a project management platform that can be used to build your project plans, assign tasks, and track resources and communicate across the team, both current and future. You want a place to be the one source of truth for everything project related. So what is a project management platform? It's a place where all the tasks needed to complete a project can be organized, tracked, and assigned resources. These tasks are organized to create a plan. The granddaddy of these applications is Microsoft Project, which is still around. Some other examples are Jira, Monday.com, Wrike, Liquid Planner, and Asana, and there are many more. All of the modern applications are software as a service, or SaaS, rather than standalone applications that live on your computer. In this video, I'm going to explain what you should look for in selecting a PM platform when you're doing adaptive project management, which uses waterfall tools with an agile mindset to solve problems with complexity and uncertainty. To learn more about adaptive project management, you can watch my earlier video on that topic. The link is in the description and up above. The first thing you need to be able to do is easily add tasks. You should have a place to describe the task in enough detail that the person assigned this task has all the information needed to complete it. For instance, maybe the task is to review a schematic that is stored in a document control system, and the link to the location of the schematic is in the task description. This is fundamental, and all of the PM platforms have this. You should be able to assign dependencies to every task, which are things that need to be done before the current task is started. For instance, if you're going on a road trip, you need to pack your luggage, then you need to put it in the car, then start driving. I've skipped the putting the luggage in the car step, and this is not ideal, and usually involves going to an outlet mall somewhere near your destination. Managing dependencies is critical for waterfall and adaptive projects, but not typically part of an agile project. Every task should have an assigned duration, which is how long it's expected for someone to complete this task if it's the only task they're working on. Ideally, you would put in a range rather than a single number, since it's not necessarily possible to know exactly how long something will take. Some people have more experience and complete a task more quickly, or maybe it's a novel task and you're just estimating how long it will take based upon other similar tasks. But no one has done this task before, so it's still uncertain. Finally, you should be able to assign every task to the person or people who are responsible for completing it. When an individual contributor logs into the platform, they should easily see every task that's assigned to them and how it fits into the bigger plan. It should be obvious to them what tasks they should be working on that day and what tasks are coming soon. The next thing I would look for is the ability to easily create a Gantt chart. This chart shows how tasks are linked to each other and how they fit into the schedule. If a tool can easily create a Gantt chart, then it has all of the features I've discussed above. You need to be able to display the critical path, which are the tasks that if they slip by one day, the project slips by one day. The other tasks have some slack and they can be running a little late without impacting the overall delivery date. Ideally, you'll be able to roll up many tasks into a higher task to make it easier to see the big picture and then dive into the details where needed. Tools like Jira are designed for agile project management, where dependencies, critical path, and Gantt Chart aren't part of the paradigm. There are add-ons that make it possible to create a Gantt chart and determine the critical path inside Jira, but I'm not a fan. I believe tools are best when used as intended, and forcing an agile tool to calculate a critical path is like putting a horse's saddle on a cow. You might get it to fit, but it's not going to be a fun ride from the ranch into town. At this point, you have the basics covered. Pretty much any waterfall tool will meet these requirements. One of the most important things is for the system to be easy to use. Getting people to adopt a new tool is always a challenge, so any friction in its use will make that even more difficult. And if everyone doesn't use the tool, then it has negative value because it can't serve as the one source of truth. There are two personas to consider: the PM and the individual contributor, or IC. Focus on ease of use for the IC. It's okay if it's complicated for the handful of power users who are well-trained and understand the importance of the tool. But for the ICs, if it's not easy to use, they just won't use it. I once worked at a small company, and every week our numbers were off because one person refused to use the tool. He knew that he wouldn't get fired over it, and no amount of social pressure would budge him. Another thing to look at is how the platform deals with change. What if a task takes longer than expected, or one of the risks becomes an issue? How easily can you update the plan? In some platforms, you'll need to manually move everything, while in others you can just change a few things and the platform will recalculate the entire plan given the information you've already uploaded. For an adaptive project, one expects to be making changes like this much more often than for waterfall projects, so how easy it is to manage these changes is important. Resource allocation is another critical element of building your plan. If you assign all of the tasks to a single person, does the platform just let you do that with the fiction that they'll work on all of these things simultaneously? Or does the platform at least make it easy to see if you have a problem and manage it manually? Or does the platform automatically schedule these tasks sequentially based on a rational guess of the priorities based on minimizing project duration? Resource leveling is one of the most difficult tasks in building your plan, and it's also something that changes during the project due to the needs of other projects, sick leave, or someone just decides to quit. So you want to ensure your platform makes it easy to deal with resource allocation. If you use other business platforms for onboarding customers, payroll, financial, reporting, or other functions, look for integrations that will increase your efficiency. For instance, when a customer is onboarded, that might trigger the creation of certain tasks based on information in your customer relations management system. Or hours logged in your PM platform might roll up to your accounting system to create an invoice for your time and materials clients. Even if there isn't native integration, many platforms enable interactions through Zapier, where an event on one platform triggers an action on another platform. Changing platforms is, to put it mildly, a pain in the arse. So you want to make sure that whatever platform you select, you can live with for at least a couple of years. Think about how your requirements will change as your business grows. Issues like resource management may not be important now, but they could be in a year when your headcount is doubled. Also, look at the roadmap of the platform you've chosen, but take all commitments of future features with a grain of salt, and I mean a big one. Another thing to consider is the cost. Typically, there's a per seat cost, and you'll want to have a seat for all of the ICs who will be working on projects, not just the PMs. Often there are multiple tiers based on the feature set, so make sure you're including the features you need, but not paying for features you won't use. You can always upgrade later. As you start to review your platforms, I create a table like this, with each row being a topic to consider. I didn't include Gantt Chart or any of the earlier features because I see those as requirements, that if the platform can't easily create a Gantt chart, I wouldn't bother scoring it for managing adaptive projects. Each platform should be scored on a 1 to 10 scale for each issue and the weighted sums calculated. The weights shown here are just an example, but you should think about what weights make sense for your organization. For instance, you might not see much value in integrating with other platforms at this time, so that might receive a lower weight. Or your funds are tight, so you may increase the weight of cost. If you'll be doing waterfall project management, you might use the same table, but with a lower weight for managing changes, since waterfall projects are more stable. You also might care about an additional issue I didn't mention here, so feel free to add it to your table and in this video's comments so other people can learn from you. Thanks for joining me in discussing how to select a project management platform. In future videos, I'll go through the process of scoring some popular platforms. But you'll need to go through the process yourself because you might have different opinions or needs. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe and share with anyone who you think needs to adopt a PM platform.